No.
Hello everyone, how are you doing? Today I want to show you my new script for sorting meshes by triangles count and some improvement in previous transforms too, but jokes first. I switched it temporarily up to Maya 2020 version and so many problems here, where do I begin? I seen this one, I'm about to go in. Then she said, I'm here with my friends. She got me thinking, and that's what I said.
Fuck this.
Currently at my work, I face it with some polygonal optimization tasks. And from the first day, I start thinking what is the most convenient way to deal with it. I was looking for a method of faster recognition the more heaviest meshes at my scene. At the beginning, I was imagining something with simple layout, but when I done it, I quickly realized that I wanted more and more functionality, which MEL can grant me. Eventually, it brought me here. Let's take a swift look over it. By pressing Count button, window will output the list of all processed meshes, either selected or all in the scene. The counter at the top will tell you the exact number of processed meshes. The list will show you all correct names and the sorted triangles count. If you have some duplicate names inside groups, script will rename them first and print names in log, so be aware of it. Basically, what I wanted to implement is sort of spreadsheet, but MEL doesn't provide such functionality, so I had to find a way out. Need to mention that script doesn't work with Smoosh Mesh Preview. The list works similar to Outliner, but completely separate from it. I'm speaking about regular selection. As you can notice, there is some groups inside. I added logic which is trying to find exact copies in the scene, so you can deal only with one of them and then simply replace the others. This approach can be very handy if project has an excess amount of all triangles in the scene and many duplicates, so you will definitely know that this is the copy's fault and not the original one. But don't rely too much at this feature. First of all, this in particular and the entire script as a whole are just helpers in your workflow. As additional minor function, I added ducking ability, and script can be kept or launched between Maya sessions, since version 2018, I suppose. Also wanna mention that width of window completely depends on name's length, so my suggestion is to not use too many symbols for the space sake. You may ask, what is bonus section? I was thinking how you can additionally visually differentiate meshes. Because I'm familiar with Unreal Engine, I decided to add something similar. Now you can colorize your meshes like in Unreal.
That's unreal.
There are two modes of coloring. Very cheap by drawing overrides, which can conflict with display layers, and way more heavier by vertex color, but more representative instead. It's better not to use vertex color at very high polygonal model, something like more 500k plus, because it may take longer time to paint. Below the colorize button, you can see two sliders, which represents some sort of threshold. Basically, it means that, for example, objects with triangles count less than 500 will be completely green, and about 10,000 completely red. You can freely adjust these values for your needs. For example, you can bump up the green border and optimization successfully
It failed.
Oh,
It was just a bit of fun. Oh, you're probably right, as usual.
you may be curious, what is Green Waff? I adore the game Dead Space so much, and when I played Remake, I heard the girl voice in menu. When you are disabling some setting, instead of, she speak Waff.
On. Off. On. Off.
I found it cute. This option allows you to hide green objects. The last clickable button in this tab is Reset. You know, phone or other device has tiny little hole where you can insert a needle and it will restore to default settings. So this is it. You may need it only if something went wrong with coloring. It may happen if you painted some objects and forgot to undo then start it or open it to scene, so script will lose the connection with meshes. And I leave this button here, which simply breaks all connection. Use only when absolutely necessary. And you know, after 2 weeks of fixing bugs, I can say that this coloring feature 100% experimental. At the very top of window, you can find second tab, where I put short description to all the script instead of doing separate annotations. The next what I wanna show is update from my transformation tool. It was very crude at first version, and actually that version can be called 0.1, while current is 0.7, or something like so. I reworked previous functionality a bit and added orient stuff. Adding orient stuff requires from me to dive into some vector mass. I encountered at first version that this tool was in dire need for some orienting. Yep, this is still not complete replacement for some built-in orient joints options or so, but I will probably add missing options later. First of all, the script doesn't chase in some strict task. At first place, this is polygon for testing my abilities in scripting and adding stuff, which can be acquired in usual way in Maya. And the second place is to be useful in current time for my needs. Now jump into innovations. I enlarged get last and get middle buttons to mark them as main ones. I split the previous snap to last button into two new separate commands, move to and turn to. Get middle position now also gives you the direction, but only for two selected vertices. Moving to orient section, you have here two buttons. First will align by desired axis to direction. The second one will align by selected edge or two verts to desired axis. Both buttons are toggles, so second hit will flip direction to -180 degrees. Orient to direction can be used very often when you are placing object in the middle of something and wanna point it properly, as the case in my first video. Desired axis here means object's local space.
Do that sound again. What? I like that.
Or for example in my car. I figured out that my headlight must rotate somewhere from this axle. So I'm getting the position and direction and starting orienting. Same for this headlight. Checking the orienting direction. Okay, I can flip. And now, yep. And final step is parenting. And now I can simply like so. Orient to desired axis is more tricky thing. It comes very helpful in cases where you have some, for example, freezed object and some weird rotation, and you want to fix it and quickly align to world coordinates. Need to mention that this function works a little bit different in perst and orthographic views. In perspective, it will strictly put entire object to desired axis by selected edge, and maybe you don't want such behavior. For this case, you can go inside views, where you can achieve more predictable results, because script will rotate objects only by the axis which you are looking through. For example, in top camera you're looking through y-axis, and it will turn around a bit. In front it will be z, and inside x-axis. And the last new tab for now, I call it batch operations, if I may. I put here only one new function, which call it replace with selected. It is very simple. First you are selecting the sample and then any count of future replaceables. The sample will substitute replaceables and all will be deleted, leaving only new duplicates. Be aware the sample will also disappear. Also, I put here a snap to last button and remade her functional a bit. It does almost the same as move to and turn to, but deselects the last item at the end of operation. I don't know what to do with it right now, so probably I'll get rid of this command in the future. Currently, I can spend only 1 hour at weekdays and maybe 2 on weekends for learning scripting, so unfortunately can't achieve impressive progress in short time. This is complicated scene right now, because my current job doesn't focus on scripting or inventing something at all, but instead gives me ideas what can I develop for myself. I think it could be great to find a job where you can build exciting tools and enjoy their usage at the same time. But it requires also from me much more knowledge of something bigger than MEL, if I can handle it.
You can do it!
This is all for now. Hope you liked my progress and new inventions. So stay tuned to see my next episode.